T-Rex, what are we waiting for? Where's Steve? Have you seen Steve? I think, once again, he's playing hard to get. There he is. Come on, Steve. You ready, T-Rex? Let's do a triple hop. 1, 2, and a 3, and you're out. Can you do a spin? Oh, he almost did a spin. It's 8:37 on Friday, February 6th, 21 degrees-ish. I remember where I was on February 6th, 1978. It was a Monday morning, and we went to school, and it snowed about 3 inches in about an hour, one of the heaviest snowfalls I've ever seen, and they put us on a school bus and sent us home from DY, and the snow turned into rain, and Cape Cod was in the eye of the blizzard of 78. All right, so the White Walker Steve has come out. T-Rex is over there. We've got a ferry coming in. Not a ferry, it's a tugboat, and we've much less ice on the bay today than yesterday. And we're going to have a time lapse of the ice moving later on. It's going to be really interesting, going in waves. So it's low tide right now. The big chunks of ice are sitting on the beach, and some of those chunks there are about 4 to 5 feet tall. And it's beginning to snow. Did they say it was going to snow today, Friday? The sky is falling. So we look past that tug and barge, and you see how that gray curtain comes down and touches the ground in Hull over to Winthrop. It has begun to snow before 9 a.m. on our Friday. This was not part of the forecast. The city of Boston, I could see it 5 minutes ago, is now obscured in light, maybe moderate snow. I'm going to continue to pan over toward the Great Blue Hill where there are holes in the clouds, and it is not snowing. You see that emission coming out of Twin Rivers there? It is headed toward the southwest, so that means our air is coming from the northeast, and we have ocean effect snow that has developed way ahead of forecast. This forecast for the next 36 hours is impossible. We call it now casting because in the end, Mother Nature has the final say. Somebody called Steve yesterday a badass cat, the White Walker. So what's happening is there's a bomb cyclone out over the ocean. I think it's about the 11th of the season. It's happened in the Northwest Atlantic, and we are on the fringe. So the circulation around that cyclone is so expansive, out more than 200 miles from the center of this hurricane force storm, that the air is coming from the northeast, and it's cold enough that the difference between the water temperature, which is in the upper 30s, and the temperature at about a mile up, which is close to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, that is a 20-degree gradient in the bottom mile that's very unstable. And you know what else comes out of the ocean? Energy, humidity. And it's called ocean effect. You've probably heard it as lake effect over the Great Lakes. Well, it happens as ocean effect. And the only reason that we had snow last Sunday, when we were supposed to have a Cape Cod blizzard and we missed it, was because of the ocean effect that added up to 2 inches in Cape Ann and Plymouth. So even ahead of this weekend's polar vortex NorLun Trough, we are having snow most of the day and night here on the beaches north and south of Boston. Sometimes on Cape Cod, you would think you would get the ocean effect, but the air is just a little too warm on Cape Cod for the ocean effect. Here are the temperatures this morning. Not exactly warm, but you can see Cape Cod 25 to 30 with that wind off the ocean, while you get to Boston, it was closer to 20, and then it was 6 below zero in Orange, Massachusetts this morning. So the atmosphere decoupled, and Orange went from 6 below to 20 above when the breeze picked up and the cloud came in. So the clouds are coming in both from the west and the north and from the east. That's what makes New England the most interesting weather on earth. The air comes at us from every angle and every corner. And boy, is it a complicated forecast for snowfall amounts. Somebody yesterday said, TK, I'm watching for the snowfall amounts and you haven't been showing them. That's because they're impossible. I mean, I looked at all the different forecasts this morning. I guess I can just show you the National Weather Service forecast. Abroad, 2 to 5 inches of snow. And wait till you see the NAM showing hardly any snow on Cape Cod. So where it's going to snow 6 inches is really an impossible forecast. I looked at all the TV stations, and some of them were putting on 3 to 6 inches around Wachusett, and some of them had 2 inches there. So every snowfall map should start with the number 0 and then go up to whatever you think the top number is. And I think the top number is 8. So my forecast for this weekend is 0 to 8 inches of snow in southern New England. And the ski areas are getting some snow too, and the cold. But really, they're calling it dangerous cold and all that. But we had the same thing happen 2 weeks ago on our Saturday. And remember what happened 3 years ago this week when it was 5 to 10 degrees below 0. And we had a 2-day winter in 2023 to open up February. We're not going to rival that kind of chill. So which should we start with? The radar, the radar there in eastern Massachusetts just shows some orange, and that's the ocean effect snow gathering. But the real deal is off to our west. So if you show a wider radar, there are the snow showers and snow squalls associated with first a warm front before an Arctic front coming through the Great Lakes states. And it's a really complicated map. The surface map for this afternoon shows a lot of low pressure systems coming across southeastern Canada with dual cold fronts, the blue lines being cold fronts, and there's a warm front in there too. And the 1010 millibar high pressure system, just enough to keep our air coming in from the northeast today, that in association with the ocean storm, because normally when there's a cold front coming at you from the west, your air comes from the southwest. So there's a contradiction on what is wind, air moving from high to low pressure, whether it should be coming from the south or the north today. So I didn't see the northeast wind coming, and I don't think any of us did. And so none of us had snow in the forecast for today, yet here it is. And you can hear a blue jay. You probably can't hear it. Let's close in, take a look at this. What's that say? RTC 192, something like that. Is that how long that is? 192-foot barge, work barge. We're not going to go over to the salt pile today. I'm glad that everyone's learned that the salt that we put on our roads comes from Chile. Even Jim Cantori says, how could that be cost effective? I don't know, because you can fit so much salt in that huge bulk carrier. Not this one. Oh, I just saw a snowflake. So the first snowflake happened right here out of this mostly cloudy sky. Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. So let's do the play-by-play. There goes the White Walker. We're going to use the NAM high res from last night. This goes hour by hour, and blue is the snow. There's no rain anywhere with this one. And you can see it starting to come in off the ocean there, north and south of Boston, and from the east, even as the main snow shield as well off to the west. And we're starting to see the ground turn white by early afternoon, and by sunset, north and south of Boston, there'll be snowy roads. We'll say, was this supposed to happen? And then tomorrow, here comes the snow. Well, tonight, really, from west to east. So we have the snow coming at us from the north, from the west, from the south, west, and from the east, all converging right over us tomorrow. And it looks like there will be a NorLun Trough developing with a primary low decaying up near Burlington, Vermont, and a new low forming southeast of Nantucket. And there's a surface trough. They call it an inverted trough, where the wind from the north in Maine meets the wind from the west in Connecticut. And those dark blue batches there swinging down. And you could move those 20 miles either way, west, north, east, Cape Cod, late in the day. And then the snow is shutting down by tomorrow evening. And then we see the blue numbers. Those are the decameters of the 500 millibar level going down. Once you get below 510 decameters, that's Arctic air, and all the other black lines, those are isobars. What is wind? Air moving from high to low pressure. The wind is going to be gusting 20 to 40 miles an hour, starting late tomorrow in eastern New England, early tomorrow in western New England, and continuing through Sunday midday. This is where it stops here, Sunday rather, at 1 p.m. And you can see the 510 thickness is down around Nantucket. The 504 it's closed off. That's an upper level low up aloft. That's air going in circles at 500 millibars. And the 498 cutoff there, centered somewhere near Lake Placid, right? And so that is the polar vortex coming to New England for about the third or fourth time so far this season. T-Rex, you want to go in? No? You going over there? So there are critters underneath the snow, and Rex has been finding their trails and whatnot, and he's really having a blast. Oh, he's going to go upstairs? All right, you just go wait up there. We haven't done an ice bucket challenge in there because ice bucket's been covered in 2 feet of snow for some time. And Eric wanted me to talk about sublimation, how the snow can disappear when it's... Uh-oh, where'd Steve go? Oh, boy. How the snow can disappear even though it's below freezing. Well, the sun And the snow can go directly from a solid to a gas. It's called sublimation. So thank you for mentioning that. So many science lessons we get when we watch this show, partake in the show. No, seriously, where did Steve go? This, what is that? Is that blood down there? It's hard enough that Steve can walk on it. Oh, there he is. White Walker going that way. Out and about in the snow. That's the farthest he's gone in weeks. I'll just keep an eye on him. And snowfall accumulation. Okay, we'll do it. By popular demand, I'm showing it even though it's going to be wrong. This is the NAM snowfall accumulation. And there it is accumulating near Boston. South Shore and North Shore could have an inch or two by sunset today. And that keeps on coming from the east, but then it gets kind of dwarfed with the stuff coming in from the west. And looks like the state of Maine is not getting snow with this. Maybe Kittery and Point South, but Maine, we're missing this. The NorLun Trough, even though upper level flow is from the southwest, the surface trough moves towards the southwest into its upper flow. Figure that one out. Okay. And we'll stop it there at 1 o'clock. That's as far as it goes. And you see the darker blue would be 3 inches. And note there's really nothing over Buzzards Bay. Do you believe that? I don't believe that. There's nothing over Maine. I kind of believe that a little bit more. And it shows the max is somewhere around Danvers, Massachusetts. Could come in with 6 or 7 inches, if this is right, which it's not. It's not right. And speaking of not right, I'm done with that snow map. Now I'm going to follow these animals. This is the only grass in town right here because it blew through, the snow blew through and drifted. It's all up there and accumulated, and it's a natural fence to keep the animals in. So I'd say 0 to 8, and I'd say for Weymouth, I'm going to get about 4 inches of snow. That's my guess. And Charlie in Mashpee, I'd say you're going to get about 3 inches of snow. Less on Cape Cod because Cape Cod will be warmer, and it's not an organized storm. This is called a mesoscale event for the most part. And now you really want to see some fiction. We're going to show the Euro model. All the models have changed on what's supposed to happen after this cold outbreak. We're going to have warmth trying to come at us, but the cold is going to resist. So here is the Euro. Just thinking of all the things, the caveats I want to say. There's our polar vortex digging through the Great Lakes. You can't really make out the ocean effect on the northwest perimeter of the bomb cyclone that's off the map to the right, north of Bermuda. And we have the snow ending and the wind increasing tomorrow afternoon, and it is frigid. There will be wind hold issues. Super Bowl Sunday. It'll be a good day for indoors and watching TV. Going to Jay Peak. There's a water park there. And so indoor is best on Sunday. It's going to be so cold. It's not going to be colder than anything we've seen. 2 weeks ago, I think we had a similar cold snap. And then Monday, it's going to turn from low barometer cold, where it's coldest up in the sky, to high barometer cold, where it's coldest in the valleys. By Monday morning and Tuesday morning, we'll have some record low temperatures. Incidentally, there were record lows in Florida again today. And then here comes a clipper on Tuesday, kind of falling apart. Clipper being a weak system that comes over the top of the ridge out of southern Canada, and the warmth is just not getting in here. Yesterday, it had a full mesoscale low pressure system going right across here on Thursday. Now there's nothing, and it almost looks like a NorLun instability trough coming out of nowhere, coming across eastern Massachusetts next Thursday into Friday. Thursday front, that makes sense. I'm always into Thursday fronts. And what happened to the warmth? Where'd the warmth go? Where'd all the red lines go? They're gone completely. Oh my goodness, this is so different. Now I'm going to stop at the same place I stopped at yesterday at 7 p.m. on Valentine's Day, February 14th, and it showed yesterday. All right, I'm just going to show you what it showed yesterday. This is what it showed yesterday. Remember, if you didn't watch, it was 981 low pressure system near going between Toronto and Montreal. That kind of storm track would have had rain and thunder and wind from the south and temperatures in the 40s and 50s and melting snow and flooding. All right, and I said, that's wrong. That's not going to happen. And now I'll show you, go back to what it shows on the most recent guidance, the run of the Euro last night. It has a high pressure system in the order of 1020, 1023. So 40 millibar higher pressure system. And instead of having, say, the 552 thickness, now it's the 522 thickness. So instead of being 50 degrees, it's more like 30 degrees on Valentine's Day, with no storm anywhere in sight and no trough in the west. We've got a ridge in the west. So the models are having a really tough time trying to get rid of the trough that's been bringing us our cold. And it's an impossible forecast. Now, the GFS has about a 3-day nor'easter on Thursday, Friday, into Valentine's Day. The Canadian has a system going off the mid-Atlantic states with snow for just southern New England and New Jersey. So add them all up and divide by 3, and I think what I was saying yesterday, I believe that we are going to have a wintry-ish storm here next Friday and Saturday. The pattern trying to warm us up, but it looks like the Greenland block is going to try and re-intensify. So I think that's one of the problems. All right, we're already at 15 minutes. I've got a bunch of and more from yesterday. Remember, 2 days ago, we were totally iced in. And that Coast Guard cutter, not a cutter, but I don't know what they call it, a harbor tug or something like that, the Shackle was making paths through the ice. Well, guess where the Shackle went after it left here? Went to Nantucket, and the ice didn't look too thick on Nantucket. But just in case, the Shackle's down there in Nantucket. The Current posted that image in today's issue. And the Nantucket Current also got an image from the captain of one of the ferries, and I can't remember your name, but it's written down there, of a harbor seal on a float of ice in Nantucket Harbor yesterday. So it's looking more like Canada than Nantucket, isn't it? But this happened back on Super Bowl Sunday in 2004, happened in 2015, and it's happening this year, not quite to the extent of those years that I just talked about. So thank you for contributing, everybody. And I know I've had a lot of comments with Patrick and Brandon and Captain Peacock and everybody. This is getting to be kind of popular. I'm going to need a staff to help answer all the questions, but I really enjoy it. And thank you for all your commentary. So the end more, yes, from yesterday is going to be just kind of talking about the ice. We're going to have a really interesting time lapse of how this ice moved with the tide yesterday and making fun of the guidance. Initially, that's what we're going to start to do. So it is snowing in Boston, and it's going to be snowing off and on through dinner time tomorrow. It's anyone's guess. Yesterday's weather today. And more. And more, 10:10 a.m. Thursday. We've got more open water than we've had in about a week. It's beautiful Thursday. Looking at the edit here for our next Valentine's Day. I'm sure that's changed. We are not getting a warm storm on Valentine's Day, are we? Steve, meanwhile, luxuriating in the passive solar as Mick climbs out from a cave. Steve watches intently. Hi, Mitt. Did you have a nice morning nap? Nothing like waking up early in the day and then taking a nap right away. It's so fun. Warm inside. Still cold out, only in the 20s, but with the higher sun and a slightly warmer week, we've got much more open water, so the high-speed ferry is speeding through the ice-free channel now. All the ice is accumulated near the shore, and so shipping lane is ice-free here between Weymouth and Boston anyway. Birds down there. It's for breakfast. Seed. They like the sunflower. And these same 3 vessels that were breaking through the ice. That's the Warren Jr. and the Junior Junior and the Junior 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 Junior. Editing. Strategic Unity. Can't wait for Strategic Unity to go by. I thought this might be it, but it's not. This is the Super Co. flying the now ice-free channel. Strategic Unity should be going by today. Eagle way out there, too far. You can make it out though, can't you? The profile, how it glides. Just barely saw the white tail. Come back. That's fun. Second sighting in 3 days. It's a really pretty day. Eagle doesn't bother with the small birds at the feeder, which is nice. I hate to see carnage in the backyard. Oh, cardinal. Pretty. Before 2 o'clock, it's gorgeous outside. T-Rex, you want to go check it out? Will you do a triple hop at this door? Nope, just the door downstairs. But he'd definitely go out the door with this very light wind. My camera's on a tripod, so a little clunky here. And watching the ice move, it's so interesting. The tide is high right now, so it's been coming in sort of toward us. And the ice out there from Hingham and Hull has come into the channel here, as it's been kind of coming toward us, but now I think it's going to go away from us a little bit. So how about a little time lapse of the ice movement on the water on this gorgeous afternoon. Here are the geese. No air moving, so it's going to be totally just the force of the currents. So I'm thinking what's on the left is going to go out further, and what's on the right is going to come in. There it goes, out with the tide. Looks like we may be ice free in the morning, other than a skim. Let's just watch it down here. After 1 hour, we'll see how this moves. Let it go for maybe another hour. Fascinating, even as the old ice is moving out and curving around. You can see new ice trying to skim over in between the old ice. Look at the pattern. Look at the sinuous pattern, the S shape. Waves. Everything works in waves. That was another 36 minutes, and I'm making a video on my iPhone, and I have to make a phone call. So that's it for that time lapse for today. It's so fun watching this, even in slow motion. So peaceful. 4:11 p.m. Look at that reflection. This glassy water should ice over pretty quickly this evening as the ice has moved around and we've reached peak bay ice, and now it's receding. It'll ebb and flow, no doubt. I think I can leave you sitting on your chair here for a few minutes and go down the beach and you'll still be there? Oh yeah, you're tied to the chair. Kind of. So I've walked down here several times since the big snowstorm a week ago Monday. Post-holed it. And we only had 1 2-incher back on Sunday. Look at that, how hard that is. It's amazing to me. It's filled all back in. So I've walked down this several times, and now it's more glacial. We had about 2 inches of snow with wind last Sunday. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now we're down to our knees. And the worm farm is under there. And we're going down here. Just get a close-up of this beautiful evening and lay out the piano music. I'll spare you the time lapse of me running down the stairs. There, I'm at the bottom of the stairs. Those are my tracks from last week. I think it was last Thursday. The wind was blowing in my face and it was frigid. Since then, it's been a lot more quiet, especially the last 3 days have been exceptional. Andrew and Sophie's ski tracks in there. And look at the water. Oh my goodness. How pretty is this? Those things are kind of swirling just a little bit right there. It's sort of like surfing. When you look out at the water, the waves don't look that big, but when you get close to them, they look a lot bigger. And so we're standing now at the edge of the revetment. Could you imagine if they tried to build this winter instead of last winter? It was a cold winter last winter, but we didn't have all this saltwater ice down here. I don't know. We wouldn't have been able to do it. It wouldn't be done now. So we're going down to the water line. Carefully. Saltwater ice here is not soft. Where I am anyway. And here we are. And that is, let's see, I'm 6 feet tall and it's up to my chest. That's chest high right there. You know the perspective on it. Can I turn my camera around? You can see. There we are. This tall. Cool, huh? And this morning it was all piled up against the beach, and now it's not. And I could say I could probably walk on this, and I probably could get soaked. Maybe I can find a flatter one. The tide's going down. Yeah, it's really slippery. I had visions of maybe going out on the ice over the water at one point, but it just got too warm. But now I am on an iceberg over the water now. cool, huh? Yes, I could slide and fall in. I know. 1 foot of water. I can deal with it. So pretty. How about a sundog reflection in the glassy water? Sundog, recall, refraction of sunlight off ice crystals at 22,000 feet up. There's 22,000 feet up. And what are the odds that there's a cloud right there for us? High thin cloud. This is probably the nicest Thursday of the year, if you don't mind a little ice. And there's some new ice that was forming right down there on the rocks at higher tide earlier, right there. So we do get a new skim of ice overnight tonight. There's a nice ball, solid ice ball. So it's no Cape Cod Bay 2015, but it is North Weymouth, Gulf of Weymouth Bay 2026. I don't think that we're gonna get any thicker ice. I mean, it may rebuild a little bit this weekend with the Arctic push. Oh, look at that. You can see it going out with the tide. What do you think this is, Tim? Not in a hurry Sunday? No, it's a Thursday without a front. The Arctic front is really Saturday morning here. We probably talked about it. The Valentine's Day looked so warm and wet. And yesterday's Euro, today's Euro looked so cold and dry. Exact opposite, so probably settled somewhere in between. Hello, Kent brothers. Can you see me now? Do you know who put this graffiti in the concrete in 1971? How many times have you had ice like this since then? 76, 77, 78, 81, 2004, 2015, and this year. Incredibly pretty. We're down the Gulf of Weymouth. Sunset on a Thursday, February 5th. The anniversary and the eve of the blizzard of 1978. Bonus conclusion. Just walk back up. So pretty, so placid, so reflective. And breaking news. No, not strategic unity, but we can see the sun back in our backyard, and the sun is splitting the uprights here on February 5th, just ahead of the Super Bowl. The sun has moved that much. If you watch every day, you know what I'm talking about. A couple days ago, it was just to the left of that upright. For the win! Talk to you tomorrow.